These were some items, a Garcia Grande cigar box that belonged to my mother-in-law, and also some of her cameo pins, stick pins that actually have the name of the jewelry store out in Raleigh. The doll did belong to Jethra Brown. She lived right across from Mom Matt, and she gave this doll to my daughter when my daughter was a small child. And this is actually my daughter's dress that Erica put on the doll.
My grandfather gave me this doll bed, and he made it when I was 5 years old, and that was in the 20s. And it folds up. Show you how it folds up. Excuse me. It folds up like that. And it's handmade. And he also gave us these two little China dolls, which started my mother collecting them for me for the rest of the time. And this one too. And this doll trunk was given to me by my grandmother, which belonged to my Aunt Ethel Fowler. And this doll, the doll in the trunk. But this was my last doll, which was like in the 20s. And this doll is a Virginia Dare doll, about the 40s. This was my first grade book. Baby Ray had a little dog, and the little dog loved Baby Ray, and Baby Ray had rabbits. They were little and the rabbits were white, and Baby Ray always loved the little rabbits. This was the first schoolhouse in White Forest, and it's across the street from Glen Royal Baptist Church. And there's one girl in here, this is her mother.
It's right here. Here she is.
Here she is. That's your mom right there. The names are on the back if anybody would like to check and see if maybe you have some kin folks in here. I don't, but I think I do have some cousins in here. I think all of us were kin down there one way or the other.
I know y'all remember way back when you worked outside, you wore a bonnet. And this belonged to my mother because we used to have a garden in the backyard. This is where she kept her priceless recipes.
And I already
remember?
looked to see if the coconut one was
And it's
in there.
not. But some of her recipes are still in here, and some of them in her handwriting. My grandmother lived over next to the railroad track, and the entire time she was living, up until just a few years ago, the house never had electricity. It never had running water. She didn't want it. When we went over to visit, you sat in a straight back chair that she would put a newspaper in the bottom. Don't wear white. And you sat there by oil lamps. I mean, that was it. And it was depressing. It really was. But she had 5 sons: Russell, William, Emery, Harry, and my daddy Morton. And she had one daughter, Harding. She had one daughter whose name was Evelyn, and I can't find out much about her other than she died when she was very young, a young child. But my mother always told me that these were her little mittens, and this was her little comb and her little hair comb. And then I think you got my mother's quilt. And this Judy and some of the others. Judy and I grew up together. But
Our mothers quilted together.
Yeah, she would put up the frames in the back bedroom, and they were the kind that hung down from the ceiling. And then she would put these straight back chairs under each corner so that it gave it, some steadiness. But people would come in, her friends, and you might stay an hour, you might stay 2 hours, but you would come in and you would quilt a little.
And these are made with scraps. And when she said she used to, I'm 67 years old, and I still sleep under a quilt either made by my mother or grandmother. My mom, during her early years, she can remember Wake Forest having like a class system in terms of meal in town, because the town had lights and they didn't, and things like that. But by the early 50s, it had begun to change, and this is an evidence of the change in the equality, more treatment of equality. In 1952, of the 16 senior superlatives, 5 of them were from Glen Royal Mill. And I put it in there because my sister's one of them. Everybody at Glen Royal Church knows about Mabel's porch. This is Sherry's mother, Mabel. This is Roy and Donna's daughter, Angie.
No, I think that's Erica.
Erica, it is?
Yeah.
Is it? I'm sorry. And this is, yeah, because that's Margaret and her daughter.
This house that I lived in was an original schoolhouse.
It's right in front of Glen Royal Church.
The money bag is the first money bag that Glen Royal Baptist Church had when they collected their money and took it to the bank, Central Carolina Bank and Trust Company. Those are shoes that belong to Cordelia O'Neill with Lynham. And this is her.
She died at about
At age 49 in 1926. She was born in 1889.
And this was William Milius Lynham, Smiles Lynham. And this is my mother, Mary Doris Upchurch. It's not very clear, but this is Katie Hicks Upchurch and John Upchurch. And he was a veteran of the Spanish War. This is a typical Depression era photo.
That's a pretty photo.
And that's Mary Upchurch. Now this is Glen Royal Baptist Church. Sherry and all of us, many of the people might even be here today. This is Joyce's daughter, Suzanne. That's Jennifer Wright. This is Sherry's husband, Gene. That's me, Judy Lynham. And where's Miss Sherry? That's Margaret. Margaret's here today. Eddie Mack and Larry. That's Sherry. Okay. And who's here, Sherry?
That's Linda Kay.
Linda Kay.
I tried out of the mill, the strike, for 80 days and nights. He had 5 children to support, so he couldn't, he didn't feel like he could afford to stay out of work. Someone throwed, T-H-R-E-D, a stick of dynamite on top of the house. It blew a big hole in the top. Most of it fell on the children's bed. No one was hurt, but what a mess it was to, and after, no, I don't know what that says, and the effect that had on them. Some people trying to work, other people doing everything to keep you from working. And this was his opinion at the very end of it, but it's the truth of it. They were carrying rifles and shotguns and pistols when it got dark on the Union side, because the Union side would, as he put it, would start their dirty work. So, for them to have survived that was really a miracle, I think.